Hello everyone, how are you? Okay, well, I have been a busy bee and I wanted to make, with my stars I got from the 99-cent store and the Dollar Tree, and this is from the Dollar Tree too, I wanted to trace some stars from these. And what I did is I took my trusty, I'm sure this looks familiar to a lot of you that follow me, my chipboard, because this is like chipboard. So instead of buying chipboard, I use cereal boxes or any kind of box you have that you can cut to make flat and use to trace stuff on. What I'm going to do, I've done a lot already, but I want to take you through the process of what I did. Now, I really like, when I'm decorating for holidays, I don't know if you'd necessarily call it just primitive or primitive country, maybe farmhouse now. Not that these will be farmhouse, but this is the kind of stuff that was done on wood back in the 70s when toll painting was very, very popular. And so what I've done is I've just taken it now to chipboard because I no longer have my scroll saw, and I'm telling you, it's bugging the heck out of me because I really, really, really liked my scroll saw. You can tell I have all of my embellishments out here, and I'll go through each one when I get ready to use it. Go through going ahead and tracing one of these. And I'm just going to go ahead and use my pen. Okay, so I've done, like I said, I've done all that I'm going to do, but I want to do one of this. Okay, so we're just going to trace this. And you can embellish however you want. So now we have that traced, and let's cut it out. That other piece for something else. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and I'll be back, and then we will trace this to our scrapbook paper. Okay, so cereal box cut out, check. These I'm going to put on my fireplace, on the mantle, I think, because I have a couple other things that I'm working on. And these are going to be the colors. If you saw my home tour for my Patriotic 4th of July, I used a lot of the light blue. Okay, so now we have our star cut out. So we'll cut that out. And I don't want to keep you with me while I'm doing this. I'd rather spend your time and my camera's time, meaning the minutes I have left, embellishing, because that's going to be the real fun part. So I'm going to finish this. I'll show you what I've already done, and then we'll embellish some together. Now we have all of our stars cut out. And like I said, I previously glued a lot of these together, which I'll show you in a few minutes. But right now I just want to glue these two with you. So I always like to do at least one thing that I'm making with you, because I know you don't have time to watch. You know what I mean? How long can you watch someone glue stars on the cardboard? And if the cardboard doesn't match up exactly, that's no big deal. You just trim it off. And then if you want, you can ink it. Like I inked this white with some brown distressed ink from Tim Holtz. Like I was telling you, I like the more country primitive when I'm doing things like this as a rule. Okay, now we got this one. And I like using a glue stick for things like this, not actual glue. Glue just doesn't work as well as a glue stick, for me anyway. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to get another glue stick, finish gluing this, and we'll trim it. Okay, so we have everything glued, okay? And now I'm trying to determine what I want as far as placement. And as you can see, and like I said, if you saw my Patriotic home tour, in my family room, these are the colors. These to the side. I thought I was going to put paper on the back of these, but I'm not. I'm going to leave this until next year because you never know what I might think up next year. So these will be packed away. So what I'm focusing on is this, and I have 2 other DIYs for Patriotic, how to make. So first, okay, and my easel that I'm going to put these on is downstairs, so I'll have to get that after I'm done. But for now, okay, so the one that I'm going to put down by my fireplace, I want to try to place these before I glue them. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my dimensional foam pieces, so this isn't laying flat on this one. It's going to stick up a little bit. But then I want a third one, and I think the third one I want to be, what do I want you to be? I think I'm going to have you, I made one like a patchwork. Okay, so I put 3 different pieces of scrapbook paper, and I did it deliberately, and then I'm going to trim it. But I think I want this one, so if I do that, I think I might, and then maybe here. No, I don't, because it goes too much with this. So I think I might put this one. Yep. That's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to embellish. So this will be on the floor by my lantern and an easel. Okay? Like I did. I don't know if any of you follow and you looked at my pumpkins I did last November. Same concept. Okay? But the rest of these will go on my mantle. And we'll put those together as well. And then I'll show you what they look like on my mantle. So I'm going to go get my foam pieces, get everything I want that I'm going to use for embellishments, and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. So I got my pop dots because I want to, like I said, I want to dimensionalize, meaning I want to bring up these stars. And I'm wondering if I want to put any of this glimmer mist. If you're going to use any kind of mist, spray mist, you know, always try it first on a piece of paper, a paper towel, because you don't want a big glob going on your work that you're doing. I like that. All right. I like that. Okay. Let that dry. And again, I may not do all of these the same, you know. They'll all be a little bit different. I'm going to blot a little of this off. Oh, nice. is, you notice it kind of, well, it has a shimmer to it. Okay, so now let's let those dry, because I know I'm going to use these three together. So I'm going to let those dry. I want to embellish them, and I want to put a couple of them together, some separate. It's all going to be, everything will be different. Actually, I wish I would have done more like this one where it's a patchwork. I like that. Yep, I think I'm going to do that. So now with these, what I'm going to do, and I used to do this when I did my toll painting, is I used to make my stitch lines all around, which I did this earlier. And you just take your Sharpie and you do your stitch lines or your squiggles, whatever you want. So that's what I'm going to do here. But first I'm going to ink the edges with the Tim Holtz. This is weathered wood. And I just did this with some white ink. So I'm just going to go real carefully around the edges, but it just gives a little more dimension to your paper when you hit it with the ink. And this is such a subtle amount that I'm doing on this one, where on the white one it almost looks like the edges are burnt, because I used a different ink. I used, what is that one, walnut? Okay, so that's that for that one. Do the same for this one. And I want to cut a little bit more of that cardboard. There's too much of it there for me, for my liking. Okay. And I like the way it looks when you just kind of hit it on the edges. And again, I'm doing this because I don't want it to look new. I want it to look a little bit old, kind of primitive looking, if you will. I don't know what word you want to use for it, but okay. So see the difference? I just like the way that looks. I'm going to do the same on this, and then I'll be back. Okay. So I have what I want done as far as the ink edging the stars. I don't know if you can tell the difference. Say from this to when you put the ink around it. It just adds a little to it. So now I'm going to put the little lines, like stitch marks if you will. And you can use a really fine-tipped pen if you want. This is not a fine tip. Well, it says fine point, but they have them a lot finer than this. And it's just these little touches that really add to your piece. And like I said, when I used to do a lot of toll painting, it's the little details that really make the piece what it is. And I'm like that in decorating and when I do parties or baby showers, bridal showers, whatever the case may be. I always try to go just a little more than what I could stop at. Okay, do you see the difference? So I'm going to do this one and this one, and then I'll be back and we'll embellish some more. So I got all the stitching done, and I went around with the ink, okay, and I'll do one more with this just to show you one more time, and I'll do it really, really quick because we're running out of time. Okay. And you don't have to hit every little piece. That's totally up to you. And this is good to do to give, like I said, anything you're doing a little bit of dimension, plus a little more decor to it, decorating to it. And then the rest, after I show you these put together, I'll do on my own, but I will show you when they're on my mantle. Okay, so that's that. I decide how I'm going to decorate them and where I'm going to put these, because that's going to determine how much I do as far as embellishment. Now, for embellishments, I have a little bit of my jute left from Walmart. I cut some hearts out of some tulle and some fabric. I also have some buttons and I have some trim. So that's what I'm going to be using. This has navy with white stars, and this is some ecru lace. So let's get the plastic off of this. And I love to mix patterns when I'm doing things like this. I love it. So this gingham, this blue navy gingham, is absolutely adorable with any of it, actually. These, I think I want it this way. And like I said, all of these stars are going to be probably embellished just a little bit different than each other. You see how I'm mixing the different embellishments? And then I think I'm going to put this underneath. Okay. Now, I really want to make sure where I want, so we can kind of get a look. Because sometimes if you're going to put something on an easel, you want to see what it's going to look like. Because being down here might be different than the way it looks up here. Okay? And I may use a different easel, but I have this here, so that's why I'm using it. Anyway, I want to see kind of how I want this to be put together. Okay, that's how I'm going to do it. All right, so now let's take our, and I do think the easel that I'm using will be different. And when you're using these pop little styrofoam pop-ups, don't throw this away that's around it. You can use this just as well, and I'll show you because I'm going to do it right now. See how you have that little square? Doesn't matter if it's round or if it's square. You can use that. Okay, so let's pop this up exactly where See how I use that piece? And I want this at an angle. So now that I have it where I want it, then I can bring it down and work on it, but I want to see, okay, and I want that one right there. Okay. Then I can go ahead and finish with it down. Before I do any more of this, up. You see how it's lifted up off? It's not flat on it. Now this one, I want it to pop up even more, so I'm just going to add more of these. Okay. I like it straight up and down. Okay, so you can see the dimensional and it's not just flat on itself. I just like the look of it better. Didn't want to do any more to it, you wouldn't have to. Some people, some people might not even want ribbon or stitch marks or anything. That's totally up to you. But now I'm going to go ahead and embellish a little bit more. So now I can take it off of the easel and decide I'll use this button right here. Okay. I'm not sure. I think I'll do a blue button. I'm just liking more of the primitive country farmhouse, if you will, material that I have. Because I'd like to incorporate some of this material, because the other thing that I'm making for the mantle is going to go with all of these colors. Layering, as you can see, all different materials, fabric, buttons. And I even think I'm going to take the Sharpie and I'm going to stitch around this material. Okay, what about... Okay, will be out of what you've seen here, just they'll all be decorated a little different and yet have that continuity when they're all up on the mantle. Okay, what I could do is I could take this jute and take it around, and I think I will. And I don't think I have any of this real thin. Yeah, I like that. I really like this. This is the 2-ply, and I think this was like, I don't know, a couple bucks. I can't tell you how much I've used that. And then we'll go down and you'll see what they look like all displayed on my fireplace. Like that. I like it a lot. Do you see what I mean? It's more of a primitive country look, and it would fit perfectly in Farmhouse for the 4th of July. So I'm just going to go ahead now and I'm going to make some stitch lines on this material, giving the illusion like of a patchwork, if you will. And that's it. That is it. So I will be back, like I said, once I get all of these decorated, and then we'll go down to the fireplace. Okay, so I want to show you all of the stars done, and then I will show you where I'm putting them on my mantle. So first off, like you can see, I put a couple of them together, and then what I did is I embellished with some of my toile that I got from Joann's, and some ribbon and jute. And then I just went with my Sharpie, like I told you, and went around like stitch lines. And then on this big one, I just coiled up some other kind of jute and put some buttons that went with the color theme. And then over here is just another one. Like I said, they're all primarily the same. They're just put together differently and with a little bit different embellishment on each. And on this one, I just put the jute and went all the way around this big star. And then I inked up the edges of a lot of them with some Tim Holtz distressed ink. And then here I just put like a patchwork with a button and some fabric and ribbon. And those three are all together. And then I put the foam, and they're not laying flat on one another. And then over here again, as you can see, I kept with the same color scheme because that is what I wanted for my family room. That is, except for these little ones, and these I just also embellished with the same things I used all the way through, just put them differently. Goes together. Now I'm going to show you where I put this. Okay, so here they are on the mantle. And as you can see, they go perfect with the color flowers and with the lemon. So here they are one more time. I love this patchwork star. I wished I had done more of those, but there's always next year. Here's another one. And I like the three of these together. And I really like the way that they are not flat, but they're dimensionalized. And there's another one. I really like the way these turned out. And then here's one down here. And I put that on the easel. So there you have it. Until we get together again, and we will. Remember, the world's a better place because you're in it. Don't ever, ever forget that. Talk to you soon, guys.